Oh, the dogs found them. So guys, this was my introduction to a drag radial, or actually a slick and a skinny. You know, from what my dad always did, he was like, you know, we're gonna drive the car to the track, swap the tires, run our time. We're not gonna put it on the trailer or anything like that, and we're gonna roll with it like that. We're gonna change our tires when we leave. No trailer queen. That's the way we're gonna run with it. So that's kind of what I had done whenever I went to the drag strip with these tires, is that I did the same exact thing, because that's what I knew, you know. Really lightweight set of wheels and tires. I thought that they were Welds. It's actually a Krager, and we're definitely gonna have to put some new Sportsmans on there, and we'll find some new slicks, or maybe even a drag radial for it. But we're gonna make this work, and we're gonna resurrect these puppies. This is gonna be a lot of fun. What do you guys think about that? Tori, what you think about that, girl? A little boop. Wow. Knocked all that grime off, and what a difference. Kind of white. Guys, so some of the people were saying, hey, that's a 383. No, this is actually a 420 cubic inch engine. So this started life as a 400 small block, and it has been bored and stroked. Well, actually, sorry, yeah. It's been bored, and I believe it might even have an offset ground crank. I'm not totally sure on that. I did have the dimensions somewhere there. But yeah, this is a 420 cubic inch engine with that mini ram that has been very highly modified. Like I said, monoblade throttle body. And this is a custom one-off piece. And let's see here, what else do we got? That does have a Jessel valve train, which is a really oddity, especially for the time. I know it was really expensive. That was a 1.7 roller rocker on there. So a Jessel 1.7 roller rocker, solid lifter cam. Just kind of wanted to reiterate some of the things that I either didn't say correctly, or some of the misconceptions about it. But yeah, so again, a LT will not have the distributor on the back with that. So bear in mind, you'll never see an LT engine with a distributor on it unless they take an LT intake manifold and they put it on a small block Chevy like an L98. So I had actually done that later on after I'd seen what the successes that my dad had with this. Back in 2001, I think I found a company that was called lt1intake.com, and what they were doing is they had a fixture that they bored into the back of the intake manifold so that you could put the distributor down in there. And I was like, heck yeah, man, I'm gonna do that. So I had actually started dynoing my car, and I'd put that intake manifold on my car. I picked up 50 wheel horsepower. But unfortunately, with the extra RPMs, that kind of pushed me into a much higher rev range, which it picked up lots of power. That was awesome. It pulled great, except I ran into valve float. So right at about 62 or 6400 RPM or so, the car had just tremendous valve float. So it was like, rah! I was like such a tease, but you know, as you live and you learn. So this is that's racing, and that's how you learn. You know, you run into a mistake, and it's not necessarily the mistake that's the problem, it's how you deal with it. So that was really an interesting lesson, and it did what it's supposed to do. So this shorter runner intake manifold makes a lot more top end power. A longer runner intake manifold generally makes more bottom end torque. So this manifold is what kind of this manifold changed the whole game of the TPI. The TPI intake manifold made fantastic bottom end and mid-range torque, but that was it. It was all done at like 4,800 RPM, which is like just a joke of RPM. So this manifold allows you to go well over 6,000 RPM. Guys, we got the thing up and running, took it down for a ride here. We're kind of letting it warm up. It's kind of cold right now, but we got the outside clean. Next thing is going to be clean the inside. Liam, you gonna handle that?
I'll handle a little.
A little?
Yes.
Well, geez, don't be so enthusiastic about it. How you like that throttle response?
It's kind of jerky, isn't it?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Is that it?
No fuel pressure drop. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I thought for sure that we would have a fuel pressure drop, but that means that it's just in the tune. So. Moats software and some of the hardware that goes along with it. That is going to be awesome. So God bless you, sir. Thank you very much. Also kind of gave me a little bit other routing of what to take with the throttle response with the data logging. So we're going to kind of pursue that avenue and try and get this puppy up and running a little bit better here.
Yes. The throttle response was terrible.
Terrible? I think it's pretty awesome. So guys, this is a one day at a time thing. We got a lot of stuff that we got to tackle on this in order to get it back up to snuff. You know, I think we got the wheels that we can go through. We're gonna have to do something with the tuning, but like I said, somebody reached out and helped us out with that. That is gonna be great. It'll be a little bit of a learning curve. Guys, I cut my teeth doing the EEPROM tuning, so I've done it, but it's just like, it's like a kind of a language that I haven't, you know, spoken a long time. A little bit rusty, but tuning is tuning, you know. I can and most certainly will tune the car with the EEPROM first. EFI Connection also has something that looks to be pretty interesting, that they make some components in order to be able to tune this with an LS1 processor. That would be the ideal goal, and then tuning with HB tuners. That would be my end-all scenario right there. So doing tuning this thing with HB tuners would be by far the best option. It is, in my opinion, the most user-friendly software out there. It has, it's very, very straightforward. I would love to use that with this car, but for right now, I'm gonna probably try and tune it and see what I can do with that. Found this photograph just a little while ago here at my mom's. It's something that kind of stuck out in my brain, and so check this out. Boom! Got those back. I wanted to show you that, well, what the deal was. Like, one of these was for low ET at that exact Vet Viper shootout, 1996, and that was the winner of the modified stock right there. So, oh, and we got a bonus one, which we forgot. So, I wanted to show you this one here too. Low ET on the second Vet Viper shootout. So, you know, kind of restoring this thing to some degree, and I just wanted to be able to recreate that. That was such a fun, you know, thing that I wanted to share with you guys. So.
It's a very decorated car, man. It's so cool.
Hey, look, you got some fresh rubber under there.
Yeah, did you put some rubber on that?
Oh, just a little bit.
You better clean it off, brother. Got to keep this thing clean.
We got a new carpet coming, and trying to get all the mold out, going through everything, changing the fluids. This, we're doing our best with the time that we have to try and get this thing running top notch again. I am going to be working on the EEPROM tuning software, kind of freshen up what I cut my teeth on, and that is going to be a little bit of a challenge. It's a little bit crude, but it is going to be a learning experience, and I will be able to share that with you guys. So, look forward to it soon.
He's so much better on camera than he used to be. What a stud. Look at all these cute. Look at this guy. Dude, you have not changed a bit. Looks the exact same. Look at this. Does he not look the exact same?
Where's the beard? You were born.
What else do you got here? What's that?
Go back to behind
oh yeah, yeah. So this is
Isn't there one with Lingenfelter?
Yeah, that one right there. That was actually
really
at
cool.
that same day that we won.
Legends. Sweet.
Got another one. Him working
the original
car
color.
Oh yeah.
No, that's Lingenfelter's car.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright.
What I was just telling these guys here was this is the mini Ram. That was one of the first developmental intake manifolds, and look at the date, 5/16 of 1989.
Damn.
So we actually used to get paid royalties from this intake manifold from TPIS from helping develop that manifold. And they no longer produce the manifold, but it is an interesting manifold. It is part of what makes this car. And this is the LT manifold really resembles this design. So, you know, one could loosely associate, hey, you know, the fact that the LT motor wanted to go to a higher RPM was developed in part because of this manifold. So, let's see. Yeah, that's the second iteration of the mini Ram right there on this car.
The mini Ram.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah. So, that was a one-off homemade monoblade throttle
That's
body.
what's on the car right now.
Yeah, that is what's on the car.
No
right now.
way?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool.
This was this actually. Did you help me with this? Or was Ryan? I think helped me with this.
This is your old car?
Yeah, this is my hidden nitrous. There's my speaker box, and then
Get some subs in that bag, girl.
yeah, they were faux subs. So.
Just to hide the nitrous.
Yeah. So there,
That was solely to hide the nitrous?
just to hide the nitrous.
No way.
So look at that. That's what it was right there.
That's
Had a
amazing.
15-pound bottle with a remote bottle opener and all that junk. That was pretty cool. Vericrom, man, this is your app for drag racing back in the day. So that thing was like a quarter-mile simulator.
Oh, yeah.
That was the original.
Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, this is cool. But yeah, look at that stallion. That's
Ooh, there's you and
16,
Pops.
16 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, Howie Krantz, that's the guy that helped build that car right there, and that's a car. That's a little launch picture. Not not the best launch picture, but you can see a little.
Even. Yep. Picking up the nose.
Yep. Again, another mini Ram picture there. Another Linkenfelter picture. Oh, this is actually the vehicle that kind of started it all. So my dad bought like a way early 80s S10, and this was the early data logging stuff that you had to use.
No way.
That was
printed while you.
Well, it's not really printed, but it was like it would show numbers that were, like.
Well, what is this thing?
So this was like a little ribbon cable that went down and plugged in.
Oh, I thought it was like printing. I thought it was printing out the log.
You are rich. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No.
I thought it was like that's so funny.
Yeah, so there's like
that's like the ribbon cord.
Yeah, that's the ribbon
Okay,
cord,
cool.
but it displayed really funny. I actually still have this. I'll have to bring that out in some video again. But oh, look at this cell phone back there too. He had a cell phone. But yeah, an 80s S10, like an early 80s S10, like 82 or something. I don't know. What's one of the first years of the S10? It was like way, way, way old. But took an 85 vet motor, put it in the truck, and it got slower. So he's like, what the hell? And pretty much, hooked up with some people at GM, got all the books and smuggled the books out of GM and got them, and was able to hack all this. And that's really what started all of Fasterproms right there, is like basically trying to tune something that went slower after it should have gone faster. So that's really the this was a fun truck. Actually, Howie, the guy who worked on this car, owned the truck for probably 10 years. It was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
All right.
Did it indefinitely get faster?
It did. It actually went pretty good. I think it was probably like a mid 12-second truck or something like that.
Mid 12s.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, everyone, it's been a great day here at Fasterproms, where we make your proms faster.
Oh boy.
And we can also make your late model GM cars faster.
All right.
With the ability of computers.
Have you been drinking?
What's the ability?
You almost swears there.
Thanks for calling Fasterproms. Make your proms faster. Damn, I used to have the best jingle. I don't remember the words.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess
See
it
ya.
was the best.